讲到紐西蘭，有藍天、白雲同青草，就是亞洲國家真好嘅推演嘅。安尼嘅天然景色就反映到國民風。除咗英文按做 New Zealand， 紐西蘭另外一種用茉莉花來按呢，就按做 Aotearoa， 也意思就係白雲嘅故鄉。唔但將國家一名嘅用茉莉花來講，行到紐西蘭嘅記錄風，咪可以到多項嘅茉莉文化。對呀，就看得出茉莉文化確實較普及。到紐西蘭唔但將有松仁學校，沒有茉莉學校。當地政府還顯出2040年前，愛100萬嘅紐西蘭居民都曉講茉莉花。
夢中北部太太雷神馬嚟出來，傳統向茉莉園圖打針以前，會先挑一攤上去吸引嘅客家政府來學聽嘅，都見已經係紐西蘭嘅國家象徵。客家政府跳到國際項，2年前到世界盃橄欖球賽當雙人歡迎。現時喺紐西蘭國家隊亦等有力嘅宣傳效果，原住民族權文化大放嘅一種方式帶到主流項。也為奧克蘭一等有名嘅鐵票之一聖山葉太教堂，因為喺拜年後古屬地拜當地嘅做禮拜，不過因採訪團最發現到，唔但將貴嘅教堂嘅外拜，一行嘅地度，坦講嘅地度係非常嘅多，係彩繪嘅玻璃，喺個地度嘅唔但係有歐洲，還有紐西蘭嘅茉莉文化，也意思就係講啊，一貴嘅紐西蘭茉莉文化就融入到嘅紐西蘭民眾嘅信仰當中。就到奧克蘭市嘅茉莉古鎮場，也做教堂係 Parnell 企業一等重要嘅鐵票之一。一般係高德福，一般係現代家，一片代表歐洲，一片代表茉莉。現時唔單止來做宗教禮拜，每次鐵盤音樂會各種比賽嘅素材，當自然融入到沙期度項。
I embrace it. I think it's a good thing, and maybe I'm thinking about learning Māori, but certainly for her age group.This is going to be very important.
平常生活中，并不是说一些什么标志性的地方，其实你是能感受到的。这个部分也是新西兰人引以为傲的输出的一个部分，但我觉得它有在消退。我觉得还是需要政府扶持，也有助于这个保留的。对我还是觉得挺好的。
上追佢咧，宴客將日上來，當然上下班通圈出意料嘅宴客，未談呢到茉莉花，啲係唔上茶。唔但將談呢到未從頭看呢到，無論你行到幾路巷、連帶路，也許到各種蔬菜剛剛連跌，茉莉花同紐西蘭沙菲，原來都有。現正超到1977年，紐西蘭茉莉事務部啟動茉莉同非茉莉作為平等。強持共享嘅生活化主義，1987年通過茉莉5年半，同茉莉花英文同數語列入國家官方語言。故所啲所有嘅國家文獻當中，都愛用2種花語來表現。
So Māori culture, I think, is very woven into New Zealand culture. You hear it a lot. It's spoken a lot. It's in the art and the imagery. It's on the plains, and so.We want to keep up and sustain that because we think it makes New Zealand culture unique.
最引導民眾當然十分共業，茉莉文化特幫官方面見，原住民族權生態面孔大陸，而當然紐西蘭主流沙菲建立嘅，其中一項有效方式就係帶到學校地度，本身以內寫寫意思就有茉莉嘅環境。聽你一上歡迎過上一場特殊嘅茉莉文化體驗，就按你開始咧。這啲嘅茉莉花迎客公演，還有台下一群土地四主人公歡樂唱跳。因為對咩唔屬意，沒有照定傳統演唱，用自己嘅母語來唱一段。
山歌了来那个唱啊。
导演请经典嘅屁股搭屁股一种工艺，象征神圣嘅生命气息。规套模拟人行仪式佛喜礼，其实咪係紐西蘭小學模擬教育當中嘅一部分。
We learn in a very cool way, like by the teacher giving us instructions, and we learn off those ways.
We write quite a few mihis in Te Reo Māori, and in our handwriting, we usually do Te Reo Māori words.
Ana, he. So girls, you go out and back.
紐西蘭對模擬文化教育做得一啲普遍，其實未當彈性。不過就到政策之下，提前搞現場，還有一道關卡等等，尤其愛講到家長和別學。
We talk to all parents, so the first set of parents that we talk to are those of Māori descent. So if they've got any sort of Māori descent, then we ask them if they would like to go into the unit or if that's something that interests them. The unit's open to everybody.
同紐西蘭嘅學校制度其實有分嘅當中，其中一類包含嘅雙語教學，制度咧就有關嘅就學模擬化和個學英文兩種，是唔過佔比係當無共用，其中嘅用家嘅當到文化投入教室嘅學習範圍制度。
Other kids, it's like an opportunity to open the door and bring them into the culture in a nice way. I also think it helps them to understand some of the history and context of who are the Māori people and their place as Indigenous in New Zealand.
My role as the tūmaki and the principal here in particular is to bridge that gap for the staff. You know, provide them with being able to be comfortable in that environment. You know, I think that's the most important. That's how we're going to preserve the language.
不過，就到教育體現認真紐西蘭國家的時候，模擬化是本然檢測。故所做得用模擬化不留來溝通嘅先生，少係呢檔少。
For example, the teacher Whai Edina, she was actually one of my friends. I went to university with her. We studied teaching together. So I was fortunate that when I had a vacancy come up within the unit, I talked to her about it, and you know, she was interested and keen. Not always does that happen. You know, it's not as easy as that to find people, and you know, we do struggle sometimes.
先生唔啦，廖妍妍是捐課盡量結合教研課程，為將講模擬生命理學接近內核，就將學法到台灣樣嘅，到有限條嘅資源環境當中，雙方面結，我眼見看見談模擬化，愛同有文化同語言繼續留下來。